Have you ever noticed your hair growing in beautifully for a few months and then all of a sudden it's nothing? No new baby hairs, no extra length, just the exact same hair for weeks, if not months. This is what we call a hair growth plateau, and it's actually way more common than you might think. So today I'm going to break down the science behind why this happens, what's going on with your follicles, and the steps that you'll need to implement to start hair growth again. So if you've been doing all the things consistently, oiling, supplements, all of that, but your progress is stalled, stick around because we're going to get into everything you can do to make it start up again. So to understand a plateau, first off, you have to understand the hair growth cycle. And each strand on your head is going to go through three main phases. The first one is the anagen or the growth phase, and this is where your hair is actively growing. And this can last anywhere from 2 to 7 years. Next up is the catagen phase. It's also known as the transition phase. And this one lasts a couple of weeks. And then you're into the telogen phase, which is also known as the resting phase. This is where the hair has actually detached from the bulb, so it's not receiving any of the nutrients anymore, and it's just waiting to fall out. And then once it's fallen out, the cycle starts all over again. Now in a healthy scalp, these phases are going to be staggered. So not all of your hair is in the same phase at the same time. Some are growing, some are resting, some are shedding. But when something disrupts that rhythm, like stress or hormonal changes or nutrition depletion, inflammation, or even mechanical damage, a larger percentage of your follicles will enter the resting phase than normal. And that's when it can seem like growth has stalled or plateaued. You're not necessarily losing hair, but you're not actively growing new hair. Another reason is that the anagen phase can actually shorten over time. Now with this one, genetics plays a huge role as well as lifestyle factors. Chronic stress or thyroid dysfunction and even nutrient deficiencies can tell your follicles to cut the growth phase short. So when you do hit that wall where your hair just stops responding, it's often a sign that your body or your scalp are asking for a reset, not necessarily that your routine isn't working. So let's talk about what's happening inside the body. So the first thing we'll talk about is chronic stress and cortisol overload. High cortisol directly impacts the hair growth cycle by signaling the body to conserve energy. When your nervous system is in fight or flight for too long, your resources like your amino acids, zinc, iron, things that play a role in hair growth get diverted to essential organs like your lungs, your heart, your brain. It's necessary to help those things function properly, and it's diverted away from non-essential organs like your hair follicles. And the result is that the follicles can slip prematurely into the resting phase and then end up taking the time to wake up again. So even if you're using every serum, every supplement under the sun, if your stress isn't being managed, you're going to plateau. Next, let's talk about nutrient depletion. You might be taking the right supplements, but your absorption might not be optimal. Low stomach acid, gut inflammation, and even certain medications can interfere with how well you're absorbing these nutrients. You have to remember that your hair cells are amongst the fastest growing cells in your body, and so they're going to be the first to feel it when the nutrient supply slows down. So sometimes the plateau isn't necessarily because you're not receiving the right nutrients, it's because your body's not using them effectively. Next, let's talk about thyroid and hormonal shifts. So mild imbalances in your thyroid hormones or even your estrogen to progesterone ratio, these can extend the resting phase. For example, in perimenopause or postpartum, the sudden hormonal fluctuations can alter how long your follicles stay active. So while you may not notice the symptoms yourself, your hair will. And now let's talk about inflammation and microcirculation. One of the most overlooked causes of a hair growth plateau is low-grade inflammation in your scalp. When the tissue around your follicle is inflamed, even slightly, blood flow can slow down. That means less oxygen, fewer nutrients, and slower cellular turnover. And studies show that chronic inflammation around your follicles can contribute to fibrosis, which is like a scarring that can limit future growth potential. So the key to breaking the plateau is not to add more, but to restore balance. Addressing inflammation, supporting stress management, and optimizing digestion, these can all allow your follicles to get back to doing their jobs. Okay, now let's talk about external triggers that can slow down growth. So basically what's happening on the outside. The first is product fatigue and scalp buildup. So even natural oils and serums, although you're feeling like you're doing something really nice and natural to your scalp, these can also build up on your scalp if they're not properly cleansed. So when the residue sits on your scalp, it forms like a barrier, and this prevents actives from reaching the follicle opening. Kind of like trying to water a plant through like saran wrap or something like that, it's not going to penetrate. So while the products that you're using might be effective, your scalp just needs a clean slate. Okay, second is overuse of potent actives. So using too many growth actives at once, Think like caffeine, rosemary, peptides, minoxidil. These can actually overstimulate your follicles. When that happens, it can enter kind of like a signal fatigue, where your receptors stop responding as effectively. So a short break or rotation can reactivate responsiveness. Next is overwashing or underwashing. Washing too frequently can strip the natural lipid barrier on your scalp that helps to protect the scalp microbiome. And washing too little can allow sebum, sweat, and pollutants to suffocate your hair follicles. So you gotta find your balance here. Washing 2 to 3 times per week is ideal and can help keep your scalp ecosystem healthy. And finally, heat and mechanical damage. So regular high heat styling, tight hairstyles, or aggressive brushing can cause microinflammation at the follicle level. Even if your hair isn't breaking, the irritation can actually trigger inflammation that can slow down hair growth. And finally, seasonal changes. A drop in humidity, an increase in indoor heating, UV exposure can all shift scalp hydration levels and push more follicles into the resting phase temporarily. Okay, now we're getting to the juicy stuff. How do we actually break the plateau? So I'm gonna share the framework that is gonna work the best, and this is backed in both clinical research and actual experience. Step 1 is to detox and clarify the scalp. Use a gentle exfoliating shampoo or clay-based scalp mask once every couple of weeks to remove buildup and rebalance your pH levels. You don't want to strip the scalp, you just want to lift away any residue so oxygen and nutrients can reach the follicle again. Step 2 is to rebuild the barrier. After clarifying, you're going to want to nourish your scalp with light oils that will help to soothe inflammation and restore the lipid layer, which is essential for follicle health. And if you're looking for a suggestion on which oils to use, I share a custom oil recipe. It's a free download. It's the one that I use. You can grab that in the description box below. Step 3 is to stimulate blood flow. This is where things like dermastamping, microneedling, or scalp massage come in. Microneedling has been shown to increase growth factors and improve absorption by up to 300%. But the key for all of this is to aim for gentle, consistent stimulation. Do not be overly aggressive, even with scalp massage. Step 4 is to support from within. Make sure that your meals are protein forward. You'll want to aim for about 20 to 30 grams protein per meal. Add in minerals like zinc, iron, B12, omegas, which are great for anti-inflammatory support. And if you suspect that you might have absorption issues, you'll want to add in a digestive enzyme before your meals, or even apple cider vinegar right before your meal. Step 5 is to simplify and cycle your actives. Rather than layering a bunch of hair serums, pick 1 or 2 core products and rotate them every few months. This gives your follicles a rest from overstimulation and renews responsiveness. And step 6 is to prioritize sleep and nervous system regulation. So your growth hormone and repair processes, these peak at night. So even minor sleep disruption can affect your anagen phase. So you're going to want to try to wind down with some magnesium, some meditation, light stretching. The goal here is to reestablish your blood flow, your nutrient flow, your energy flow, all so that your scalp can get the reset it needs at night. And finally, it's just a shift in your mindset. You don't want to think of a plateau as like a failure. It's just your body's way of recalibrating. Your follicles cannot stay in constant growth forever. They do need to rest. So consistency with small intentional actions is what's important here. Stay patient, keep your routine balanced, and just trust that that rest is part of the process. So I hope this video helped to clarify what a hair growth plateau is all about and why it's happening and what you can do about it. And if you guys have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below. And if you have any requests for future videos, please let me know in the comments as well. And I will see you guys soon with another video. Take care.